Hey YouTube, Brian LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel and this video, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1 review. So this is a new limited series book that just was released. I believe this is going to be a total of 3 issues. So we're going to review this story. So let's jump in, and like all of my comic book reviews on my channel, they do contain spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled on the story, you might want to leave now. So the story starts off with Spider-Man, a demon kind of looking Spider-Man. We've got some flames coming out of his eyes, and his hands are a little creepy looking there. And there's some description. And, at his core, Spider-Man still, talking about responsibility and doing the right thing. He even compares himself to the Punisher at one point, saying, that he doesn't, take villains' lives. But, if he's just being reactive and putting villains in jail, is that really, worth it? And so, we continue to that dialogue of this, back and forth, Spider-Man coming to grips with his, his choices and being responsible. And we see, he's kind of changing forms, some additional arms, and ultimately turns into almost a full spider. And so obviously this is kind of, not reality. And, we come to realize that, Peter is dreaming, and now he wakes up and he seems to be in some big lab. And we learn that he is out in Pasadena, and he is working with another scientist on an experiment. So we see Crystal, who walks in, and so she is his partner, and they're working on an experiment here to help use water and sound to, potentially heal people. And so he's been pulling an all-nighter, and so that's why he kind of sunk into that dream state and out of reality. And so they're going through the experiment and working on some things. Peter happens to discover a little rock, and so he picks it up and throws it in his bag. He feels some type of connection to it. So he's heading out of the lab since he's been there all night, and he's in a car service, and classic LA California traffic on the freeway, probably the 405. But he's looking at this rock that he picked up, and he sees that it's carved and engraved, and most likely an older rock, something very old. So he gets dropped off at his location. He is at the pier, and he is in for a chess match. Now the chess match is with a character I'm not familiar with. I think that the gentleman's name is Bird, and I'm not sure if they've crossed paths before. He doesn't seem familiar to me. But during the chess game, Peter and Spider-Man kind of slip back into this, dream state, non-reality world. And again, we see him struggling with different things. He was playing chess. We see some chess pieces and some bones and skeletons. And so he comes back out and he realizes that he has lost the match. So, and he tells Bird that, he enjoys his time with him, but he doesn't want to take another beating at another chess match. So he's going to head out. And then Bird makes a comment to him about, looking for patterns, even when you least expect to find them. There's always order to chaos and chaos to order. And so Peter, is heading out and realizes that probably not walking back to the place he's staying is a good idea. So he catches a ride on a bus that's going by. But then he sees some kids in trouble. And of course, Spider-Man springs into action. and there is a bear that is chasing down some kids, and he takes on the bear and takes the bear out. But he does note that he's a little sluggish. I guess maybe he hasn't been swinging around recently because he's out in California, and the fact that he's been pulling all-nighters at the lab has taken him off his game. But he is able to take the bear down unharmed and stop him, from chasing after the kids. And then we see him head to, I believe it's Malibu, and he is at the home of his friend Randy and Janice. Janice, who is the Tombstone's daughter, Lady Beetle. I'm not sure why they have this beach house in California. I'm assuming, there's really no explanation for it. I'm assuming that this is a Tombstone place, and he's crashing there, with Janice and Randy. So again, he starts, feels compelled to look at this rock that he's found, this carved rock. And then again, he falls back into a dream state, non-reality. He sees himself in a mirror, and he's an old Peter Parker. And then he's got this crow figure with a large gun, and he gets shot. And so now Randy and Janice return home, and it kind of snaps them out of it. They have some dinner, and they have an event to go to. They go to this kind of, swanky LA art event. And Randy and Janice know the artist. They introduce Peter to her, and her explanation of some of her artwork kind of triggers something in Peter in the experiment that he's working on, and so he leaves to head back to the lab. And as he's swinging out, he has a run-in with an LAPD helicopter. And they, tell him to, get out of the airspace. So he's forced to, swing into a top of a rooftop of a building, head into a door, and then boom, he's back into this, altered reality space. We see him at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and some security guards are going after him, and then the security guards turn into some creepy figures here. And we see even, Spider-Man in this different state, with the kind of demon eyes or the light up eyes and the strange claw hands. And so he deals with the security guards and swings off. And he's headed back to the lab, but he's kind of in and out of reality. He's runs into a large, toad and snail. But then he eventually makes it back to the lab, and again, he's back and forth from reality to non-reality with these, different monsters. And then he makes it to the lab, and he is able then to, convey his information to his partner on, some of the things that he recently came up with, and she also came to some conclusions, and they're able to kick off the experiment, and it appears to be working, and we see something coming out of the large pool, and we get Demon Bear. And that's where the story ends, and so it's to be continued. So, this story, let me see, I can get this is written by Earl and Taboo, and Juan Ferreira on the art. We have the rest of the team there. It's kind of difficult to read, but there it is. But overall, this was an okay story. It was previewed as a, haunting story, a kind of a horror story. I don't know if that's so much the case for me. The writing was more, what's real, what's not, reality, non-reality, and him slipping back and forth. He's been working, very long hours, doing all-nighters, working on this science experiment. So he's kind of in and out of sleep. And so this was more, dreamlike fantasy, non-reality, and less horror for me. Story was okay. Artwork was done really well. Really enjoyed the artwork. Good to see some different, styling of Spider-Man, different kind of color palette than we're used to, because, assuming we're in California, so it's a little, sunny and brighter compared to New York City. But overall, like I said, the artwork I thought was done really well. Story was okay. I'll definitely stick with it for only, there's 2 more issues to see where the story goes. But it is interesting for me as a Spider-Man fan to see him in a different environment, kind of outside of New York City, and a different writer tackling the story. We'll use our 5 webhead rating system, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. I'll probably go somewhere in the middle. I think I'll go with a 2.5 webheads for the story. Not too bad, not the greatest. Artwork was definitely, a highlight for me over the story. So, but that's it. Let me know what you think. If you've read Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, what do you think of issue 1? Was it what you expected? Will you be picking up issue 2? Will you sticking with the series? Let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you next issue. Thanks for watching.